Welcome to Block and Wealth. This is the show where we take your most important sources, your notes, your research, and really distill them down.
That's right. We aim to get you those crucial insights you need to be truly well-informed, but, without all the overwhelm.
Today we're diving deep into something really transformative, I think. It's about how you can stop living life on, well, default, and start intentionally designing your future, building wealth that actually serves your purpose.
And our main source for this exploration is Justice O. Malcolm's book, Design the Future: See Your Wealth Grow Effortlessly. It's a really powerful guide.
Yeah.
It highlights that huge difference between just letting life happen to you versus actively, creating the life you really want.
So our mission today, we want to distill the core ideas into some surprising facts and the practical identity work from this material.
Give you a blueprint.
Exactly. A blueprint for a life built on intention, not just impulse. We're going to look at how you build a fortune that isn't just about the money.
Right. It's freedom, fulfillment.
Impact. Real impact.
All right.
Okay, let's jump right in then. The book starts by tackling what it calls the myth of the inevitable life. And this is such a powerful idea, isn't it? This illusion that, life just kind of happens to us.
Right. Dictated by circumstances or chance even.
Yeah, and this myth, it often hides behind realism.
Totally. Just
Yeah.
be realistic, that kind of
It
thing.
tells us, lower your expectations. Just pick from the options they give you.
Instead of daring to create your own menu.
Concisely. Daring to create your own vision.
And what's really striking there is the book's point.
Yeah.
Life isn't actually inevitable. It's just the default setting.
Yeah.
It's what happens when you don't interrupt the usual patterns or question those beliefs you inherited or, frankly, dare to step off that path everyone else is on.
It's just the sum of unchallenged habits and fears.
Exactly. And the moment you really wake up to that, you stop seeing life as just something to survive.
All right.
And you start seeing it as something you can genuinely design.
And that's when it clicks, isn't it?
Yeah.
That idea that nothing is fixed.
Yeah.
Not your income, not who you are, not your limits. We often just inherit limitations like they're family heirlooms or
Well,
something.
we adopt them without even thinking.
But we have the power to write a totally new story.
And building right on that, the book really emphasizes that vision isn't some, vague hope.
Or a luxury.
Or a luxury. Right. It's a decision, a conscious one.
It's the active shaping of your future before the world or circumstances shape it for you.
Because if you don't have that clear vision, you just end up inheriting someone else's life, their values, their priorities.
That's such a critical point.
Yeah.
Because there's this huge difference between just having a wish list.
Yeah, the stuff you see on social media.
Exactly. Desires shaped by culture, media, comparing yourself versus real vision. And real vision, the material says, needs precision. It's not just what you want.
Right.
It's defining who you want to become, how you want to live, what contribution you want to make.
And the why behind it all.
Absolutely. And that demands taking some quiet space, doesn't it? To dream without all those filters.
It really does. And a strong vision isn't just emotionally nice to have. It's strategically vital.
Like a compass.
Exactly. Your ultimate compass. It helps you filter out all the noise, all the distractions. It can literally save you years of wasted effort.
And it's not set in stone either, right?
No, definitely not. A good vision needs to be, written down, spoken aloud, revisited often.
Refined as you throw.
Precisely. To make sure your life stays by design, not slipping back into default mode.
Which kind of leads us from that abstract vision to a really practical shift in identity.
Future self-thinking.
Yeah, this powerful idea that progress isn't just about strategies or, better schedules. It's about identity.
It's not who you've been.
It's who you're becoming. That's what unlocks the next level. That feels huge.
It is huge. Real transformation happens when you start aligning your everyday actions with that future version of yourself.
The one you haven't quite met yet.
Exactly. Every single thing you do today is either reinforcing your past identity or it's building the foundation for your future one.
So practically, it means constantly asking yourself, okay, what would my future self do right now?
Right.
And acting from that place apparently speeds up growth. Not by doing more, necessarily.
No, it's about the quality, the intention.
Acting from a higher level of clarity.
Yeah.
It completely reframes your relationship with time, too.
Lets you play the long game.
Yeah, make decisions based on legacy, not just what feels comfortable right now.
And that connects perfectly to the idea of values over vanity.
Ah, yes.
Because, we live in a world that often rewards appearance over actual substance.
Sure.
So it's incredibly easy to build a life that looks amazing on Instagram but feels hollow inside.
Like building on sand.
Exactly the analogy the book uses. Building a fortune purely on vanity, it might go up fast, but it just can't withstand pressure.
Whereas values, they invite you to build differently. Slow, deep, real.
Requires integrity over just image.
And the material is clear. Ambition itself isn't the problem.
Not at all.
It's when those ambitions get disconnected from your core values. That leads to those short-term wins that cost you your peace, maybe your health, your relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. Values act like that internal compass again. They provide clarity, they provide peace. When you know your values, the decision becomes simpler. Does this choice honor what I stand for?
If not, move on.
If not, you move on. Because, and I love this quote from the book, success that violates your values will never feel like success at all.
Wow, that hits home.
Defining them early protects you from that golden cage, that feeling of being trapped by success that isn't really yours.
Okay, let's shift slightly to abundance. Not just money, but abundance as a design principle.
Yes.
It's described as like a posture, a way of thinking that starts inside and radiates out.
Designing from trust, not scarcity.
Exactly. Trust, not fear.
And it's a total game changer. Scarcity thinking tells you to hoard, right? To compete, cling tightly to what you have.
Protect your turf.
Yeah. But abundance thinking urges you to create, to contribute, to bet on what you're capable of actually building.
And scarcity often disguises itself as just being realistic.
It does.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it just corrodes your creativity.
Yeah.
It limits what you even see as possible.
So adopting abundance as a design principle, it really changes how you operate day to day.
Oh, completely. How you work, you start building for scale, not just survival mode.
Right.
How you view others, you see potential collaborators, not just competitors. How you value yourself, pricing with confidence, setting boundaries.
Even time management.
Even time management, designing your schedule around your energy, not just reacting to urgency. It fundamentally rewires your brain to expect possibility.
That's powerful. Now, here's something that feels a bit counterintuitive from the book.
Elimination.
Yes, eliminate to elevate. The idea that big steps forward often involve removing things, not adding more.
It's the unsung hero of growth, isn't it? Elimination is the discipline behind clarity, the quiet force behind focus.
And I think we all fall into that trap, right? Progress equals more. More projects, more commitments.
More noise.
Yeah, but we can just drown in it. Drown in distractions and obligations. And clutter isn't just physical stuff, is it?
It's not at all. It's digital noise, emotional baggage, those mental loops that keep playing.
Yeah, all that just dilutes our focus,
Yeah.
holds us back.
The book uses the analogy of a rocket ship.
Okay.
The higher it needs to go, the more weight it has to jettison. It has to release stages.
Makes sense.
And our resistance to letting go usually comes from guilt or maybe fear of missing out, FOMO.
Yeah, definitely.
But letting go actually signals you're ready to
Yeah.
receive more of what does align, making space for depth, for mastery. It's brave.
So moving from these core mindsets to actually doing it, the book really hammers home that success isn't just willpower.
No, it's systems.
It's the natural result of having robust systems in place, repeating structures that guide your actions, focus your energy.
Protect your momentum.
Exactly, protect your momentum.
And a key question that comes up here is how systems, which can sound restrictive,
Yeah, like rules and routines.
are actually incredibly liberating. They free you from chaos, from indecision, from inconsistency.
That's
By removing decision fatigue, making your priorities almost automatic so your creative energy goes into execution, not just figuring out what to do next.
And this isn't just for business, right? It applies everywhere.
Everywhere. Your health, a consistent bedtime, a workout rhythm, your finances, automated savings, investments.
Business, yeah, systematized marketing or sales.
The beauty is they create rhythm, predictability.
Yeah.
And that's what allows real freedom to flourish.
So the message is, build them proactively. Don't wait until you're drowning.
Don't wait for the pain point or the burnout. Build them now. Okay, so shifting into segment 2, building the actual fortune. The first idea is dream in outcomes. Think in processes.
Right. Every big achievement starts with a dream, a bold vision.
But dreaming isn't enough, is it?
No way. To make it real, you have to learn to think in processes.
Translating those big outcomes into repeatable steps. Daily decisions. Sustainable habits.
Because it's easy to get stuck. isn't it? Either just dreaming forever, planning,
Perpetual planning mode,
or just being busy, lots of activity, but no real direction.
endless activity without purpose.
So the key is living in both. Keep the vision high, but ground your life in systems.
Exactly. Vision high, systems grounded, and focusing on the process, not demanding perfection.
Yeah.
That changes everything.
Have so.
You start measuring success by whether you did the next right thing today, consistently, not just by how far you still have to go.
That takes the pressure off.
Builds incredible resilience because the process is internal. It's controllable. Outcomes often aren't, not entirely.
And processes let you scale, too.
Absolutely. They create a rhythm, a structure that frees you from constantly reinventing the wheel.
Now, let's talk legacy. We usually think of that as end-of-life stuff.
Yeah, something distant, considered maybe at retirement.
But the book argues legacy isn't something you leave behind. It's something you build every day.
With every decision, every conversation.
Every action.
It's a fascinating point. Legacy is basically the ripple effect of your values playing out in the world.
So defining it now gives you power.
Huge power over your narrative. It lets you direct your life with that long-term perspective, making choices today that align with who you want to be remembered as.
Even if they look a bit weird to others right now.
Especially then, maybe. And it's not about being perfect either.
Right.
Legacy is often built in how you handle mistakes, how you respond when things go wrong. Do you choose integrity over just saving face?
Your work, your relationships, they become platforms for service.
Amplifying your values through action. So the big question it forces you to ask is, am I actually building something that will outlast me?
Powerful stuff.
Okay.
So from vision board to strategy map.
Yes, a vision board is great. It stirs desire, gets you excited.
But it's not a plan.
It's not a blueprint, exactly. It won't by itself move your life forward.
Yeah.
Vision is the what, strategy is the how.
Okay, let's unpack that how. Turning vision into a strategy map means breaking it down.
Breaking it down into practical chunks. You need absolute clarity. What exactly are you aiming for?
Crystal clear goals.
Then identify the major outcomes, the big milestones along the way,
And then?
and then the tactical planning, the actual actionable steps you can take today, this week.
Simpler the better.
The more you simplify, the more momentum you build. Structure really is the antidote to procrastination here.
So that map becomes your guide.
Your best friend. A living document that keeps your focus sharp. Review it weekly. Keep your attention aligned.
It's that shift from just dreamer.
To builder. That's the turning point. Separates hope from actual achievement.
And then comes the moment where planning has to stop, right?
And movement has to start.
Thinking becomes doing. The book says fortune, and it means fulfillment, freedom, influence, peace, power.
A whole package.
Follows the bold. Those willing to move before they feel 100% ready.
Yeah, and connecting that to the bigger picture, boldness isn't about being reckless.
Well,
It's more like a quiet conviction, acting despite the doubt, even when it's loud.
because inaction is often riskier.
Often far more dangerous than a calculated risk. And boldness, it compounds. Each bold step builds confidence. It creates opportunities just by signaling you're serious.
And this applies everywhere. Business, relationships.
Absolutely. Launching the thing, making the pitch, starting the hard conversation, setting the boundary.
Confronting your own patterns, stepping into that new identity.
Yes, movement builds the confidence that just thinking about it never ever will.
Okay, this next one feels related. Build while you become.
Ah, such a key idea. Because the illusion that traps so many people is believing you have to first become this perfect, envisioned person.
Before you're allowed to build the life.
Exactly. But waiting is the absolute enemy of transformation. You have to build while you're becoming. You grow while you're going.
So the work itself shapes you.
In ways that just preparing never could. Action clarifies your real intentions. Experience exposes your faulty assumptions. Courage refines your character.
You don't wait for fear to vanish.
You overcome fear by walking straight through it.
Requires trust, though, doesn't it?
Huge trust. Trust in the vision, trust in your potential, and trust that clarity often emerges after you commit, not before.
And that imposter syndrome.
Often fades. Because you realize, hey, everyone who did anything significant started before they felt ready. There's zero shame in being a work in progress.
The danger is pretending you're already perfect.
That's the real trap.
Okay, let's talk wealth directly. The book argues wealth isn't just status. It's a skill set.
Very much so. Not something you just inherit or luckily stumble into. It's a combination of mindset, discipline, decision-making.
And that long-term vision we talked about.
Exactly. If you treat it like a talent you can actually practice and sharpen, you will expand it.
So a critical question this raises
Is that people who create lasting wealth get that it's not just about what you have, it's about who you become in the process.
It's about capacity.
Capacity, which grows through practice. Most of us are trained just to earn, trade time for money.
Not to build.
Right. Wealth creation requires thinking like an investor. Building assets tangible or intangible that generate value even when you're not actively working.
So this skill set includes that abundance mindset.
Foundational mindset, yes. Abundance over scarcity. Emotional wealth, too, being at peace with money, separating self-worth from net worth.
Making good decisions under pressure. Leverage.
All part of it. It's a discipline you actively develop, not just a status you magically attain. And flowing from that, value creation equals income elevation.
Meaning money doesn't just go to the hardest workers.
Nope. It flows to those who create the most measurable, meaningful, relevant value for other people.
So if you want to raise your income,
you have to raise the value you bring. Simple as that, but not always easy.
And to create value, you first need to understand what people genuinely want and need.
Not just what you think they need. You leverage your unique viewpoint, shift from focusing on yourself to focusing on service. That changes the whole equation.
Income becomes like a report card.
A lagging indicator, of how well you've created, communicated, and delivered real value.
And scalability is key here.
Oh, absolutely. Creating value one-to-many versus one-to-one is how income grows exponentially. And pricing reflects that perceived value.
If the value is clear, price matters less.
Becomes secondary, often. It also requires commitment to growth, excellent execution, and emotional intelligence.
Okay, this one's interesting. Multiply, don't just add.
Yeah, the average person focuses on addition.
Or more clients, more hours, more content.
It feels like progress, creates that illusion of momentum, but it's often a fast track to burnout.
So the breakthrough comes from thinking differently.
Shifting from addition to multiplication.
Okay, what does that mean practically?
Multiplication doesn't ask, how can I do more? It asks, how can I make what I'm already doing produce more?
Ah, system-based growth, not just effort-based.
Exactly. Scaling your value without necessarily scaling your own hours worked.
So this involves knowing your highest value activities.
Identifying those, definitely. And then letting go of control delegation.
Leveraging IP.
Yeah.
Turning ideas into scalable things.
Yes. Automating routine tasks. Collaborating strategically. It's a mindset shift, a long-term play that ultimately leads to freedom.
Let's talk about brand new ink personal branding.
In today's world, with so many choices, attention is currency. And trust. Trust is the new gatekeeper.
So your personal brand isn't optional anymore.
It's strategy, pure strategy. It's understanding that you are the story, the promise, the experience behind whatever you do. Your reputation is your #1 asset.
And it's not about being a social media star.
Not necessarily. It's about becoming known for something specific, valuable, and showing up consistently.
Authenticity is the foundation.
Absolutely. And consistency builds the trust. Clarity is also huge. Being really direct about what you do, who you serve, and what makes you different.
And when the brand aligns with your values,
communication becomes natural, effortless. It involves maybe becoming a thought leader, sharing what you're learning, using your story to connect.
So investing in your brand is like investing in any other asset.
Totally. It's the bridge from where you are now to where you want to go.
Okay. Your network is your growth engine.
Yeah. The old saying, it's not what you know. Well, it's partly true. No one builds anything truly great alone.
Behind every success, there's a network.
People who open doors, share knowledge, amplify your reach. Relationships aren't just nice to haves, they are the actual infrastructure.
Your growth engine.
Literally. And there's a huge difference, the book notes, between just visibility, like having followers,
right,
and real connection. People who know your name, know your value, trust your integrity, and would actually vouch for you.
That kind of network speeds things up.
Compresses time, removes friction, accelerates growth massively.
Because building that network means being someone worth connecting to.
Exactly. Be generous, be consistent, be clear. Be proactive in reaching out.
Curate your environment.
Surround yourself with builders, people who challenge you. Collaboration is the currency here, and generosity always compounds. That network becomes your safety net, your source of resilience.
Which leads nicely to, resilience is the real flex.
Yeah. The world rewards consistency much more than just flashes of talent. Durability over brilliance.
Resilience is the quiet advantage.
It determines who actually finishes the race. It's about staying committed even when it's uncomfortable, holding the line when things take way longer than you hoped.
And it's not pretending everything's okay.
Not at all. It's about not crumbling when things get tough. It's built in those small, daily moments. Motivation's gone, but you choose to adjust, pivot,
Instead of quit.
instead of quitting.
Yeah.
And your identity is huge here, seeing yourself as someone who adapts, who finds solutions.
So how do you build it? Manage your energy.
Manage your energy, yes, rest strategic. Detach your self-worth from your immediate results. That's a big one.
And curate your environment again.
Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who amplify your strength. So many people give up right before the breakthrough.
Underestimate how close they are.
Resilience means holding on through that messy middle, that ambiguity, until clarity comes back.
Okay, getting towards the end here. Money, meaning, and freedom.
The trifecta.
There comes a point where it's not just how much, but why. Why does it matter?
We chase freedom, but freedom without meaning feels empty.
And meaning without money. Well, passion doesn't pay the bill.
Exactly. It becomes limiting. So the goal is to build a life where money, meaning, and freedom all intersect.
And reinforce each other.
Yes. Money without meaning is that trap, the endless chase. Meaning without money limits your impact. Freedom is the result when they're aligned.
Allowing you to choose everything.
When you work, who you work with, what you focus on, why you're doing it.
So the bottom line is you define these on your own terms.
Not society's definition. You have to strip away the noise. Design goals around your values. Build income streams around your strengths. Structure time around your priorities.
Integrate it all.
So it flows. Instead of living in extremes, design the business around the life you want.
Not the other way around.
Exactly. Not your life around your business.
Penultimate point. Scale what matters.
Scaling is so often misunderstood. People just assume bigger is always better.
But scaling the wrong thing.
A bad business model, a toxic mindset that can cost you everything. Scale is only meaningful if it applies to something that genuinely matters to you.
Because scaling, without that alignment, just creates complexity. Burnout.
Totally. It requires the discipline, again, to say no to things that don't align, even if they look like opportunities.
So what should you focus on scaling?
Scale your clarity, scale your effective systems, scale your energy. Sustainable scaling means managing your input just as carefully as your output.
And what matters is personal.
Deeply personal. Could be your mission, lifestyle, craft, freedom. You don't have to scale what everyone else thinks you should scale.
Scale relationships, reputation.
Integrity,
Ugh.
impact. Scale the things that create more choice, not less. Ensure scale serves your life.
Which brings us to the final, powerful synthesis. Live rich, die empty.
Yeah. You weren't put here just to survive. You were made to create, to lead, to leave something behind that outlasts you.
And living rich isn't just money.
No, it's living fully awake, fully expressed, fully invested in using your unique gifts.
And dying empty.
Means you leave it all on the field. You poured it all out, your ideas, your lessons, your value, your potential. No regrets, no delays. Just quiet satisfaction.
Your real wealth is bigger than the bank account.
It's your ideas, your energy, your insights, your story. When you shift from hoarding potential to actively sharing it.
From surviving to serving.
You step into your legacy. Dying empty means intentionally transferring your genius into tangible forms, books, businesses, movements, lives touched, things that can outlive you.
It's about living by design, not reaction.
Creating from overflow, not scraping by and burnout.
So what this all boils down to is an invitation, really.
Totally.
Stop hiding. Stop just accumulating dreams. Start distributing them.
You don't need the perfect plan to start.
You need conviction, courage. Just move.
Pour out your best. Live fully. Leave nothing left in the tank.
Wow. Okay, so this deep dive into Justice O. Malcolm's work, it's given us a really powerful, actionable framework, I think.
Yeah, moving from that default life to intentional design.
Building a life, building a fortune that actually reflects your values, your vision, your purpose.
And the core message is, your life isn't an accident. It's an act of design. All these principles we discussed.
Intentional vision, building systems.
Valuing meaning, embracing boldness. They're all tools. Tools for you to actively craft an extraordinary future.
So as you go about your week, maybe ask yourself this. What's one area, just one area of your life or your work where you will choose intentionally to design differently starting today?
What's one intentional choice you'll make this week?
To build your future, build your fortune by design. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into these, well, truly timeless principles of wealth.
We hope these insights offer you a maybe new lens, a different perspective through which to view and approach your own financial journey.
Moving you from perhaps being an observer to being a much more active participant in creating your financial future.
And we really encourage you to subscribe to Block and Wealth. And if this resonated, please share this deep dive with others who you think might benefit from these perspectives.
And remember this final thought, drawn from the essence of our sources today.
The journey toward financial success is a holistic blend of inner awakening and intelligent, deliberate action. True prosperity flows from within, driven by discipline, persistence, and a commitment to continual growth.
Wealth isn't luck, it's strategy.